Hello. Greetings. Welcome to episode 7 of the Believe in the Craft podcast. It's a special episode. I'm here with a very special guest, none other than the infamous Vasen Rebel. Vasen, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me.
Nah, no problem. We just come in here to chop it up and hear from an OG's perspective to give wisdom to these youngins. So what wisdom do you want to impart onto these youngins?
I just say follow God. That's the key to life.
You heard it here. Follow God. That's the key to life. So we're about to take a break. We'll be back soon with more Vasen Rebel. Cool. We're back from the break. Vasen Rebels with us in the building. What's good? I wanna talk a little bit about the state of music right now in the world. Like, I feel like hip hop is on the decline. Rap music's on the decline. I feel like we've got a ascendancy of drill, and hip hop has lost a bit of its essence and nostalgia and style. What do you think of the state of music in 2025?
I'd just say it's in a horrible place. Music, I'd agree with you, is definitely on the decline. I think it's oversaturation, and also just very poor music from, the musicians making music now. No one's really trying to innovate. No one's trying to push boundaries. No one's trying to create something new. And the consumer base is getting bored and tired, and they're not purchasing it no more. So that's the situation.
I agree. The consumer base, as Vasen said, is getting bored and tired of the same. Well, we can curse on Believe in the Craft, so we'll same shit. There is a lack of individuality, a lack of originality, and it's quite surprising seeing as a lot of people are going independent. You'd think that would inspire people to be more original, but it's actually inspired people to use a copy and paste method, in which there is a lack of nuance in music. It's literally the same bubblegum repeat over and over again. We saw a lot of people in the 90s, 2000s, even 2010s, UK and US, in which there was a lot more originality in music, and there was a lot more variety as well. But now it seems there's only a few genres left, and if you're not into those two genres, then you can't really do music. So there's a decline in people. In terms of rap in the UK, it's like you can only do drill or street rap.
Yeah.
Those are the only two genres. Like, there's no other genre you can do. So you're seeing people like, obviously, street rap. You got Young's Teflon, you got Asco, you got Rimsey, you've got Tiny Boost, and then you got your drill rappers, your Diggities and whatnot, Central C's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a shining beacon for originality, Dave. Shout out to Dave for doing his thing. Shout out to people like that for, Lil Sims. But beyond that, I don't know if you got anyone in the scene, UK, US, that you think is doing the original.
Trying to think, like, who. I would just say me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely trying to bring a whole new different style of music to the market, and I don't know, we'll see how that goes.
Cool, you heard it here. Vasen, me and Vasen go way back, for those who don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how far back we want to take it, but obviously, we approved backpackers, you know what I'm saying, in terms of music. How would you say your music has evolved since then, and your approach to music? How would you say you've evolved as an artist, as a producer, and how would you say your music has evolved?
Well, I would say when I first started out, I was definitely not producing. I was really just recording others, recording myself, and mainly rapping. I wasn't the greatest rapper at the time, but as time went on, I learned to produce, and I've been producing for a while now. Developed my own style, which has a lot of different parts to it. I've produced a lot of different genres, and I've adapted and taken and melded it into my personal style. And rapping wise, I've just continued to become a better rapper, part-time crooner. And just hone those skills and develop them. And I think I'm pretty decent now. So yeah, but I mean, practice makes perfect. Time will get you to that skill level. So yeah.
You heard that, ladies. He's a crooner too. So you know what I'm saying. Don't rush at once. You feel me? So yeah, no. If you listen to Vasen's music over time, from 16 to 26, you can see the evolution, from rapping ability and rapping approach to rapping, and he's being modest. You know what I'm saying? He's not just a rapper, producer. He can also film. He's got an eye for photography and film as well, and he studied these things and mastered them. So he's being a little modest on the mic right now, but yeah, I'm a big him up because he's got a very wide skill set in this thing we call music. You feel me? So shout out artists like Vasen, shout out artists like Logic, shout out artists like Russ, who really hone into their skill set and self-sufficient. And he's taught me a lot in terms of recording. Young and up and coming artist called Quan, he's taught him a lot in terms of recording. Shout out P Chucks as well, taught us a lot in terms of recording. So it really just depends on how much you want to do it, where you want to take it, whether it's podcasting, whether it's recording music, whether it's film, photography. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a hell of a lot of talent. Shout out to Slick. Shout out to Milo. Shout out to a lot of artists that have come through, that approved Backpackers Sweatshop. Nice. You feel me? There's a whole array. I probably missed out a couple artists as well, but you feel me, man's gonna shout them out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna go on another break. Cool. We're back on the last segment of today's episode. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vasen Rebel in the building. This was an impromptu episode, but we're here now, we live. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to talk a little bit about the US market and breaking into the market. It's something we've discussed over the years, and I guess I just wanted to talk about it because in the UK 2025 we're starting to see more artists get a lot more airtime and respect in terms of recognition. When music started off, they always used to talk about people like Slick Rick being the only guy, and they saw UK rappers as a bunch of people in Harry Potter who used to, drink tea and ironically, I've got a cup of tea, but yeah, that's not the point. The point is drink tea and biscuits and not really being able to rap. But now we're seeing Drake come on stage and saying UK rappers are the best in the world. We're seeing people like Dave get their clout. We're seeing Tiny Boost on doing remixes. We're seeing Central C, going on huge platforms like Rap Radar and giving freestyles. Lil Sims doing a thing. We had Chip, who had a good run out in Atlanta with London Boy, and obviously Steph London doing her thing. So with that being said, I wanted to ask Vasen, what does he think about UK artists getting recognition from the US, and what do you think it would take for a UK artist to truly get to that level where they're at the higher echelon of rap in the US?
I'd just say I think one of the keys to breaking the US market is living in the US. I don't think you can work the US market and not live there. I remember seeing an interview with Jay Sean and Birdman a while ago, and he spoke about how when he was on his radio run, he'd have to spend about a week in every state and we know there's about 50 states, there's 52 weeks in a year, so you're almost spending, the whole year in the US just promoting on a radio run. So I think there's no way to crack the US without living there. You have to be a permanent, full-time person living in the US to crack the US market. I think that's one of the big things. I think accent as well, though. I feel like our accent, the London accent, is probably the best primed accent for Americans in terms of understanding and receptiveness to us. But accent, you have to be a little mindful in terms of like how certain words are pronounced to make it a bit more appeasing or palatable to the American ear. And just creating good music after that. And I mean, if you add those three together, I think you really have a recipe for success. And I would also say understanding America, I think a lot of people from this side of the pond go over there and they don't really understand America, culturally. A big thing with everyone. I mean, everyone knows that, they carry guns out there, but everyone always seems surprised when they go over there and they see the amount of guns there. But it's a completely normal thing. And you just have to kind of be aware of the culture, aware of the small differences, because at the end of the day, everything is pretty much the same across the planet. You've just got these small differences in terms of like how countries develop. So just being aware of those things and not being awkward or uncomfortable standing out in those kind of environments. And I mean, you pretty much be able to do it.
Dope. So you heard it here. And I guess the last question I wanted to ask you before we sign out is with the rise of social media and with the rise of new markets in the digital space, do we actually need the American artists? Do UK artists now need it? Is it a necessity, or can they branch out to ingratiate themselves in the French rap market, collabing with the Asian market that's growing, and obviously the infamous dancehall Caribbean influence, South Africa, and the rise in hip-hop over there, with hip-hop becoming more of a global phenomenon. Do we need the US?
I would say yes. And I mean, you're right. There's a bunch of different pockets around the world, different styles of music, different markets, and it's completely fine to want to tap into those markets, to tap into them if you can successfully. But I'll just say the one thing about the American market that we have to remember is, if you look at overall consumption on the planet, you're looking at America being responsible for about 40% of that. So you've got one market that pretty much is responsible for around almost 50% of all the consumption on Earth. So even though the population isn't that large in terms of the amount of people that are alive globally, the consumer power that they hold is extremely outmatched compared to their population size. And I mean, so all the money's there. So if you want to become very, 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 very rich, then that's pretty much the market that you're gonna have to try and crack.
That's what's up. So there you have it. The American market holds the key to where the money's at, and it always has done. So if you really want to break into the upper echelon of hip hop moguls, of rap superstardom, the main gateway is through the American door. So it's been an insightful podcast, a lot of gems. As I said, we only drop gems here on the Believe in the Craft podcast, you feel me? So a lot of gems from the OG Vasen Rebel. Make sure you go check him out. Where can they catch you if they want to get a hold of you? Not that you want to be got a hold of. No. Cool. You heard him. You can't touch him. He doesn't do interviews. This is an exclusive. He don't do interviews. Do you feel me? Like, you can't get a hold of him. You can't message him. You feel me? So yeah, this is an exclusive Yeah, so make sure you take all the gems that you can because you might not hear it again. Alright, so you already know BITC.